A very good afternoon and warm wishes to all of you. Respected guest speaker, Mr. Santosh Lal sir, Director, IIMT Group of Science and Technology, Dr. Poonam Pandey ma'am, IIC President Dr. Vishali, all the faculty representative of IIC and attendees present here virtually. I am Mukta Tiwari, Assistant Professor. Welcome all of you on today's session on topic, how to plan for startup and legal and ethical steps. Let me take a moment to introduce our guest. Mr. Santosh Lal sir is currently working as an assistant professor in Noida Group of Institution. He has done his BCom from Kerala University. He got his MBA degree from Bhartiyar University, Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu. He is pursuing PhD from APJ Kalam University, Indore. He has many publications and patents in his hand. His paper published in many reputed international and national journals. He published book titled Public Relations and Event Management and Others, How to Successfully Launch Indian Product in Global Market. He is associated as an editor for the upcoming book, Futuristic Trend in Management. And we are very fortunate to have you, sir, for today's session. And I'm very much sure that this session is going to be a very informative. Sir, I would like to invite you to start the session.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, all of you. Good afternoon, ma'am. Thank you so much for giving me such a valuable information about me. Am I audible to all of you?
Yes.
Okay. Can you see? Yeah. Are you able to see my screen or no?
Sir, screen to visible hai, but it's the Gmail screen.
Okay, ma'am. One second. Yes, ma'am. 1 second. Ma'am, just a minute. Visible now?
Yes, sir, it's visible. Sir, please, full screen कर लीजिए इसको.
Okay, okay. Is it okay fine now?
Okay, sir, it's fine.
Okay, so I think we can start.
Sir.
Okay, ma'am. So, well, the topic is all about startup. So I hope there are no students right now. So let's start with what is startup. So startup, as you can see on the first page, like how to plan for a startup and legal and ethical steps. So let's start with what is the startup base. So startup is an initiative. It's actually a new establishment, a new venture to be started by a group of people, or it can even be started by a single person also. So startup is basically a new concept. If you take it India, like we started the concept of Startup India in 2016. The government of India, under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he has initiated this concept of startup way back in 2016. And as of now, we can find more than 16,000 startups are already spread across the nation. So here, the first point is all about how basically we can start with a business venture. Because if you look at the business, we can do the business in different areas. Some people go for like proprietorship, some can even go for like a partnership. But only thing in the startup, we have to find out what basically is a new concept basically. Because we have been doing business, but basically startup, we should do something which is totally new in the market. Some innovative products we should come up with the market. That's all about the concept of startup. But again, with the goal of developing and commercialization innovative. So something new in the market has to be there. It can be a product, it can even be services also. But startup involves a lot of like a risk. Risk is one of the most important factor when you do a business. So without risk, no business of course can accomplish in many part of the globe. So the more the risk we know, like the more the profit we can earn. But in a startup, it's basically an initiative taken by the youth across the globe. So startup involves a lot of capital, then the risk factor is much more. It can also be started by an individual or by a group of members with an intention of only to maximize your business so that we can also start a business with the rest of the other competitors across the globe. So the third point is all about, unlike traditional business. So gone are the days in which the traditional business was there, but now startup with the impact of startup, we can see, for example, like a phone is a startup, Swiggy is a startup. So these are some of the examples which we can take in the Indian market. So right from 2020, if we take post-COVID, basically many organizations came to the Indian market. So that have got a good deep impact on how to make an economy more strong and more viable across the globe. The last point is also about the technology. So without technology, startup is not possible because startup is basically included in different areas like healthcare, finance, e-commerce, and more. Because these days, whatever we are doing online, when we go for shopping or even we are trying to buy some like automobiles or even real estate, is all about impact of the online technology. So startup has got a lot of initiatives in the growing economical development of any particular nations, and a country like India, in which the government is giving more of aids, more of subsidies, more of financial packages for the youth to come up with this particular initiative. So what is the purpose of basically to start a startup? The purpose is nothing but why it exists. So main problem, we need to identify what is the purpose to go for a startup, because the market is already expanded with a lot of like companies across the globe, but still the government is promoting startup because we are saying finally that the youth come up with some innovative products in the market. Because if we compare India and US, we are not that much developed as of US, because US is such a diverse economic country wherein it involves a lot of money power than like consumer demands from the market. But in a country like India, it is taking time, but still we know find like in the next 5 years, we will also be one of the major market player across the globe. So the second point is all about it. It should provide value proposition. So that means that means we should be something different in the market. We should know what value we are giving to the consumers in the midst of the competition. Our product should have some value in the market, and because of value only, the customer should buy the product. So proposition startup and its benefits to bring to consumers, the users, society. So doing business doesn't mean that it should be useful only to the consumers, but also to the end users or even to the society. In fact, startup also involves the role of the stakeholders. So because we know like in a business, there are shareholders and stakeholders. So stakeholders are the people who are basically interested for development of that particular organization. And any like startup company, if you take, the role of stakeholders plays a major role for the development of that particular organization, because they serve as an investor, they serve as a guiding force, and they are also the people who make the decision making for that particular implementation of that particular business. So the last point is all about the purpose should be concise, company easily understood by everyone. So whatever business you're doing as a startup, it should be simple first of all. People should understand why we are starting that particular business. Now, for example, if you're taking Swiggy or like a phone pay, we know like what is phone pay and what is Swiggy. So we know why, how it started, what is the motive for starting that particular business, and who are even the competitors for that particular Swiggy or phone pay. But still we know like fine, phone pay means is all about the merchant transaction of the online transaction, which we can like make within individuals or within institutions. So the purpose of doing a business should be much clear, and it should be understood by each and everyone. Now, for example, if you take like 2 years before, Ola started with the two-wheeler electric vehicle in Indian market. That is also a startup initiative by Ola Group. But everyone now find by Ola's, because Ola's basically in the food segment. They just deliver the product to the consumers. But simultaneously, in the slow phase, in the last 2 years, they also came up with the electric manufacturing, electric two-wheeler segment in the Indian market. So we should understand what was the need basically. And the need is much clear because that's as per the changing demand in the market, every company is changing. And because the initiative of the government, a company like Ola, they could come up with a two-wheeler segment in the Indian market. Now, what is the vision all about? The vision is a long term, because when we are doing a business, we are not only doing for a short term. Our mind should be focused, and we have to make sure that whatever business you are doing, we have to take it forward to a greater level. Second point, like a good startup for start, it's ambitious goals for growth. So whatever business you're doing, you should not like it should be only for the profit man, but also you have to make sure that we should also have a good goal orientation and a good impact across the economy, because we are not just doing for profit, but when we are doing the business, we have to make sure that everyone gets the benefit. The government should get the benefit, the employment level should also go high, the society should also get its benefit, the profit also should be there, and everything plays at the end of the road towards the vision of that particular startup. So the third point, a clear vision inspires and motivate employees. So if a startup company is doing pretty well, of course, it gets an inspiration even for the employees to work with that company for a long period of time. Investors with more to invest. They think, fine, the company is doing good. Let's invest in this particular segment, and the customers also will be more happy. Now, if we take Swiggy for example, Swiggy is really doing good across the globe. So that startup actually has changed the entire system of food chain in the Indian market or across the globe, if we are taking it. So that means, in short, we can say the employees, the investors, the customers, and each and every people involved in doing the business should aim with only one thing in the mind, that my company should go forward. The next point is vision should be inspiration, bold and forward. So whatever business I'm doing, that should be inspire someone else, because these days we know, like we get inspirations from some other companies to start the business. So even if you take for example iPhone is manufactured in NCR areas. So though it's manufactured in NCR areas, some of its competitors may also think, fine, iPhone being the market leader, why not we also will try to manufacture some the same line of business in the Indian market. So inspiration should be much clear, be bold. Whatever business you're doing, it should be economically strong, and it should be strong in the sense like the customer should like the product, and whatever business you're doing, that should be having an impact on the nation's economic development and forward thinking. As we discussed again and again, like whatever business you're doing, even if it's startup or any private companies, your vision should be clear, that we should take it forward, because we are doing the business not for a short time, but we are doing the business for a long time. Then drive innovation. So in a startup, what basically we observe one thing, like a lot of youngsters, they form a company, they come up with new product and new ideas in the market, because that's the reason why we are saying that unique USP is there. So USP means it's all about unique selling proposition. That means something different you're able to give back to the customers in front of the market, in front of your competitors. So we should make something in such a way that my product should be having some unique identification in the market, which no other competitor can give the market. And also it gives the direction for startup efforts. So the vision is much clear. For example, like I'm starting my own startup. So tomorrow, based upon my successful story, even my friends, my relatives, my colleagues may also think, fine, why not we also come up with some more like attractive manufactured products in the market. So what are the importance of business like startups? The first point, defining business model. So whatever business you're going to start, you should clearly mention, okay, fine, this is my business. Now we know, like these days, a lot of the companies are coming with electric vehicles in the market. So that means my business should be clear again, what business you're going to start. So that should be well defined, because later on there should be any confusion. Fine, I started something, I ended up in some other area. So it should not be like that. My mind should be focused. Which are areas you're going to start a business, that should have a clear impact on the people, the customers, the society, and in general the government. The next point is all research or industry. For any startup, before you start, you should have a thorough understanding about the market, and for that you have to go for doing a market research. So market research these days we can do in different forms, like it can either be primary or secondary. But again, the first and the foremost, when you're going for doing a startup companies, you should first identify who are competitors. Are there any startups doing the business in the same rate or not? Then you should first understand which segment you need to focus, which market you have to focus, who are the target customers, where do you want to sell your product, what price should be fixed. So everything should be taken into consideration in your research part. Then creating a market plan. For a startup, actually market plan is more important, because first of all, in market plan, it involves the marketing budget, which market to focus, the target customers, the target audience, the target place, putting a proper promotional activities. So, but first and foremost, all about the marketing budget. So budget is more important in doing a business. Whichever business you take, capital is more important. Same thing in the startup also. Capital is much more important because without capital, at the end of the day, we cannot go for doing a business. So, but these days it's much simplified again because government is giving a lot of initiatives for a company to go for like a startup business. A lot of tax benefits is being given to the companies. A lot of like programs are being initiatives are being set by government of India or any government across the globe. Then build a strong team. So as we discussed again and again, like a startup can be started by an individual or even by a particular 3 or 4 members or by a particular particular team. But who are involved in that particular business should be strong because then only the business can take it forward. Even if you're manufacturing a pen or a pencil, for example, so it is again a support of all the collaborative effort by all the teammates. So your team should be strong. Your team should be having a good idea from different areas. Your team should be well qualified. They should work as a team. Generally, your business can progress. Then have a clear exit strategy. So exit strategy is all about sometimes some businesses can be carried for a long time. Some end up in the medium stage, some end up in the end stage itself. But it's not like that. If you're doing a business, you have to make sure that you're doing a business for the long term. So for that, like these days, we have got a lot of initiatives out there. You can either like start up as a franchise, when you can get license from different companies. You can also go for getting a partnership business, getting a strategic alliance for different leading companies. So companies, even the big companies, ready to take up the small companies so that the business can run in the long run. Next is about like in a startup, what are marketing strategy we need to adopt? First, as we discuss market research. So market research is much simpler because these days to start any business, let it be big or small, research is more important. So identify a proper research which can be done as per your business model. So business model is all about which business you're going to start. So for example, if I'm going to start like manufacturing of batteries. So for manufacture of battery, I should make a thorough understanding, find what kind of market research should be done. Then value proposition. Value proposition all about how unique you are in the market, how different you're in the market. Why? Because you take any particular product, the n number of competitors in the market. But we should know how our product stands in the market. Now, for example, let me take 2 different examples. We know like Amul and Mother Dairy. Amul is having a good presence across the country, but if you take Mother Dairy, it is having only good presence in the NCR areas. So if you take it a global market level or on a national economical level, Amul is having a good presence. So that means we should know how to stand in front of others so that other company can also feel proud, find what the company is doing all about. Then brand development. Once you are starting with the business, any like startup business, make sure you should know how to make popular your product well known in the market. Because these days we know like because impact of social medias or like even in like Facebook, Instagram, television channels, newspapers, a lot of ways in which we can promote your product. So brand promotion is more important in these days, and without brand promotion, your product will not be reachable to the target customers. The online presence. So as we are discussing, like for a brand development, a online presence is much more important because not only because these days, whenever you are scrolling in Facebook or like even in Gmail or whichever websites you take, we can see a lot of advertisements by different companies. So that means your startup company should be promoted in such a way that you should be having a good brand presence, either offline also or either online also. Then we have got content marketing. So that means it's all about like people write about the blog writing, the content marketing. So even in Facebook also we can write a particular paragraph about our product and promote the product. Even by Instagram also we can do the same thing. Then the next is digital advertising. So it's all about electronic media of advertising your products in the market because these days things are much simplified. Within a short span of time, your products can reach across the globe. So that takes hardly 1 or 2 minutes to promote your product across the globe. So that's just a matter of time. So digital advertising is much having a good presence across the globe, and because of digital marketing or the digital advertisement, people or the consumers across the globe, they are able to have a better understanding about which product they're going to buy and who are the people behind involved in that particular company. So this way, and next is influencer marketing. Influencer marketing is all about influence which we get from a different company. Now, for example, we are going to go for a startup company. On the other hand, there are big companies like Nirma or like Wipro or like HUL. So we get a lot of influence by seeing the level of where they are already achieved in the market. So we can of course follow their strategy, what they're doing, what products they are selling. So we can get an idea, fine. If you are following someone, of course, we may not be manufacturing the same product, but still we can get an idea, fine. That company is doing better in the market, how they're doing better in the market, what strategies they're adopting. Can we adopt the same strategy in our company or not? Next is community engagement. This is all about the relation between the society, the company, and the team behind the startup, basically. Because these days, we know, like, whatever business you're doing, that business should be acceptable by the people living in that particular area. Now, for example, I have a startup, for example, company. So I should make sure that my product is reachable to the customers, or and the customers living in a particular society should accept my product. What is the use if the society is not accepting my product? It should not be like that. You have to do your business in such a way that people should be able to accept your product. Now, a lot of startup companies also started the process of CSR. So CSR means corporate social responsibility. You have to make sure that you're doing something for the society, because at the end of the day, it's because of the people, because of society only the company is doing a good business. And the company doesn't mean that doing business only to earn maximize profit, but also the company has to survive in the market for a long period of time. Next is again, what are the legalities, what are issues, what are the guidelines the company has to face in starting a startup. The first point is business structure. So you should well define what kind of business you're going to start. Straight away, we cannot think overnight and start a business. We have to well define which business you're going to start, what product you're going to launch, how much like price you're going to fix. So everything should be mentioned in that particular application which you will be submitting to the approved authority to get your license to start a startup. Next is business registration. So once the form is filled, you have to apply for the registration, maybe with the registrar of companies located in different city wise. If it is in Delhi of NCR, I believe it's in Delhi, there's a registrar of companies. So we should apply for the registration with the registrar of companies being set up in Delhi. So without registration, we cannot start a business. So registration is more important. So everything should be legalized, then only we can go for starting business. Then IPR, in the intellectual property protection, all of, because there are some startups who have got their own individual rights, which no other company can take up. Now, for example, post-COVID, the government of India has given permission to manufacture the COVID medicines to few companies across India. In that, the Poonawalla group, they got the first right to manufacture the COVID medicine in India. That means the patent right has been got by that particular Poonawalla group. So same way, when you are going for a startup, you may be getting some particular right, some patent you might get, some logo you might get, some protection right you might get, which is your own property. No other company can take it up. Same way, like I also, if I'm starting a startup, I cannot use any other company's logo or their like a trademark for doing my business. I have to create my own my own dealings in the terms of like a logo or the like patent and the trademark. So once it's received in my name, only I can use it. No other company can use it. Then next is contract and agreement. Of course, in a startup business, we have to go for signing a contract and agreement. So here the contract means again, basically we have, because in a contract, because in doing a business, without the help of suppliers, it's difficult to run a business, because we need the raw materials, we need semi-finished products. So we have to sign an agreement with those clients who will be able to supply the raw materials in time. So contracts and agreements are of course a part of the business law, which is much totally important to start your business. Then compliance with regulations. Compliance with regulations means in India, basically, if you're taking, some states have got their rules and regulations, but the government has put a total rule for if it, for example, if you taking GST. So GST is one pan India tax for the complete nation. So that means one India, one tax. So that means you have to follow the rules and regulations being set by the government of India. Even to some states, they're following their own rules and regulations. But if you're taking pan India, we should follow whichever country you're going to operate your business, the rules and regulations will remain same for each and every industry. Then employment law. So if you're appointing some like employees, make sure that there should be proper offer letter you should be given to the employees. The employee should be above the age of 18, and you should be appointing the employees as per the required qualification, as per the required job profile. So make sure that no child labor should be taken for a job purpose in a startup. So everything should be as per the law. Then tax obligations. Time to time, we should, even if it is startup, the government is paying much tax benefits to you, but still you should be giving tax to the government, because GST of course has to be paid by your company to the government. So tax obligation is mandatory, and we cannot, any startup doesn't mean that even if it is running on laws, they cannot like they cannot go on saying like the company is running on laws, we cannot give the tax. So it's not like that. Even if it is running on loss or profit, the tax has to be given by the company to the respective government. Then corporate governance and insurance. So what are corporate governance all about? Like what are business you're doing, that should be transparent enough. Even if you're manufacturing some pen or pencil or notebooks or any plastic item, your business should be well defined and it should be transparent. So outside people should know what kind of business you're doing over there. So it should be transparent, and the government, and time to time you should also declare your like your profit and loss account should be declared once in 6 months, and at the end of financial year you should also be able to file your balance sheet. So balance sheet, uh, profit and loss account, everything should be, it's mandatory, it should be done by the company. So corporate governance is also all one more thing, like whatever business you're doing, it should be fair enough. I mean, all the business should be done in a legal way. No illegality should be done while doing a business. And insurance coverage. So of course, these days, or whichever company you take, with a big or small, insurance coverage is more important against your manufacturing setup. So against your product, against your industry, against the employees, against the establishment, the insurance coverage should be there. Next is what are the ethical issues we face, like for doing a startup. First is transparency. So ethical itself is a well defined. Means whatever you are doing, it should be fair enough. The first point is transparency. So as we discussed in the previous slide, transparency is all about what business you're doing, that should be transparent enough. That should be fair enough. People across the globe, they should know fine what Ola company is doing or what Swiggy is doing. Everything should know it. So our business should be well defined. No indirect or hidden business we should run in that particular establishment. We should be transparent enough so that people should know what kind of business we are. Then fair treatment of employees. The employees should be respected by the startup company. Even if it is startup or any big companies, employees should be given a fair treatment. Fair treatment in a sense means time to time work, giving the payment in time. If there are any odd time facilities, that should be given, employees welfare, everything should be taken care by that particular start. Then next is data privacy. So data privacy means the customers data, like the cell numbers or the any contact details, should be taken in confidential levels. That shouldn't be leaked out by the company. So for example, like I bought some product from Ola, for example. So Ola should not disclose my name to any of its competitors or any of the other third parties. Whatever information I'm sharing to you, that should be kept in confidential in the custody of that company itself. That shouldn't be leaked out under any circumstance. Then IPR. IPR, again, the same thing what we discussed, like it's all of the trademark, the patent, whatever you're getting, it should be in your own name. You cannot also at the same time take anyone else's trademark or the logo or the punchline or the any other like legal formalities, that should be kept in a confidence. Then social responsibility. It's a duty of every establishment to make sure that whatever business you're doing, that should be accepted by the society. Because it's not like you're doing something which the society does not accept. It's not like that. Whatever you're doing, the society has to accept it. And also, of course, we should also try to create more job opportunities. We should try to create more expansion market so that people can enjoy, the consumers can enjoy a product. Next is customer welfare. So it doesn't mean that the customer will just come to your shop, buy the product, and it's not like that. Till the time the customer satisfies by buying your product, the company should be behind him. because end of the day, market is all about the customer satisfaction. So customers, even if doesn't buy the product, make sure you should make your customer more satisfied. Then only your business can run in the long run, and the number of customers can also multiply if you are able to satisfy your existing customers. So customers are more important in the business. So make sure that whatever the customer needs, you're able to serve to the customers in time. Then supplier and partner relations. So market is all about, as we discussed, like it's all about business to business and business to customers. So that means we have to make sure that we have to make a good relation with the suppliers and the partners, because suppliers are the people who are supplying the raw materials to you. Even after production of your product, this product has to reach the customers. So there should be distributors, there should be some retailers, there should be wholesalers in between. So they are the people who are basically running the business, because the startup people, they will just manufacture the product, but this product has to reach the consumer. So who are the people in between? It's all about the suppliers and partners. So make sure you should have a healthy relation between your partners or the third parties or the suppliers in between the manufacturing process and the customer process. Then the next sentence is compliance and regulations. So abide by the rules and regulations, whatever is fixed by the government from time to time. Then whistleblowers are the people who may think that they will try to leak out your information. Even an employee of an organization can leak out your information to another company. So make sure that all things doesn't happen in an organization, because in India, if you take, like many top level management people, they work for some period of time, they leave the job and go and like start working in another company. Even they try to leak the information. Suppose, for example, like the other day, Air India had some issues. So they had to cancel almost 80 to 85 airlines. But it all happened within inside. But somehow the employees, they leaked out the issue, and across the globe, everyone came to know like what happened with Indian Airlines. So things should not be like that. When you're working somewhere as an employee or even as a stakeholder, make sure it should be within the limit and it should be controlled by the organization. Then startup should be working for continuous improvement, because day by day we know like technology is changing, the change is more important. So as per the demands, we should also try to change our system of working and system of manufacturing, so that the customers can also be made more satisfied. So continuous improvement in terms of product design, product innovation are more important, because startup is basically, as we discussed from the beginning, it's all about finding out some new ideas in the market and coming up with the latest technological product in the market. So continuous improvement is more important in doing a startup. So time to time, we should also know how to update our technology. Then this point is all about how startup came in. It was an initiative by the government of India way back in 2016. So under the leadership of the Prime Minister of our country, Mr. Narendra Modi. So again, we are almost 8 years since the startup, this particular concept came in India. So from then on, if you take, a lot of changes have came to the Indian market, a lot of companies, a lot of youth basically, even we know like the top MBA colleges like IIM. In IIMs, like few of the students, even if they are getting placement with a good package, they don't go for the job. They are just left the job and they started doing some startup business in India. So now things are different again. People like instead of doing the job, they think, fine, let's do something for the nation. Let's build up our own industry. So even like the college where I'm working right now, I just speak to students like after doing MBA, what you would like to do. They're almost 80% students are saying we don't want the job. We just like need to start up a business. When we think fine can be good for economy, can be good for we ourselves, can be good for particular area development. So a lot of schemes are given by the government of India, especially for the youth to start up the business. Even a lot of banks are there. They're giving loans at a subsidized rate. So this is an initiative by government of India. Only thing, your startup should be having some uniqueness in the market. I mean, uniqueness in the sense that the startup should not be same, because there are a number of startups started in India across the nation. So something different which you're able to give up to the society, which are able to run your business for a long period of time. So because of startup, we know like a lot of people have got the job. A lot of youngsters, they are basically running the business, and a lot of youngsters were able to get the job, and simultaneously a lot of business, a lot of youngsters are coming up with new different ideas across the globe, and these ideas are first being converted to doing a job. Next is these are some of the startup companies which came in the Indian market. Great Pharmacy, all these. I just give an if you take Policy Bazaar. Policy Bazaar is one of well-known establishment in the Indian industry. So Paytm is also there. Then Swiggy is already there, which I already took the name. So these are some of the companies which have already came up in the Indian market in the last few years. Then what are challenges and trends we face in Indian startups? The challenges, the first point, uh, for starting a startup, the first challenge we face is about funding. Funding is more important because without capital, no business we can get. Because when we approach a bank for a startup, banks may either if you're saying that what kind of business you're going to start. So let's see the proposal first. Let's see how much investment you need. Then only so it takes a lot of time to make them understand what business we are going to start. So funding part is more important and it's difficult to get. But there are even for there are NRIs or even we can say foreign institutional investors ready to invest in Indian market to support the startup. So likewise, there are many established startups and some are in the peak time, some are already just started the market. And next is regulatory environment. So we have to take care that our environment should be, make sure that our environment should be taken care by which a company are going to start a business. So environment in the sense like market is all about internal environment, external environment. So we have to make sure that we are not harming anything for the society. Whatever business you are doing, we have to make sure that it's for the benefit of the society, the market competition. So you're not the only one in the market who is running the business, right? So any startup you take that more than 10 times of competitors in the market. So make sure you get a fair knowledge of what your competitors are doing, understand what they're doing, then you can start your business. Then talent acquisition. So hire the right type of employees for your job, then only your business can take you to the next level. The infrastructure resource. So startup requires infrastructure that also depending upon which business you're going to start. But end of the day, it's all about the technology, the infrastructure, and the resources, maybe the manpower, the raw materials, your suppliers. So it all depends on how you start your business. But challenges are more across the globe. Then trends. So if you look at the startups, basically the digital transformation has taken your startup to a different level because impact of technology in IT or we can say digital transformation, whatever business you're doing today, within a seconds of time, people across the globe will come to know find what business you're doing. Now, for example, just start a startup and put the message in LinkedIn. Within 10 15 minutes, people across the globe are knowing fine what that particular individual is doing, this company is set up in which part of the country. So digital transformation has taken the business to a maximum greater level. And because of digital transformation, the economy is also developing and your business is also expanding day by day. Then corporate startup collaboration. There are many corporates like big companies like Reliance, Tata, Mahindra, they are also having a strategic alliance with the startup companies. They think, fine, this is a startup, so let me collaborate with you. And collaboration is more important because your company is just new in the market. So a big leading establishment, of course, can collaborate with you and take your company forward so that it can be a well settled by the time you reach to a greater level. The next is government initiatives. So as we discussed, for doing a startup, government is giving a lot of subsidies, tax benefits are giving for even for to do some business, there are no taxes and all. So for example, like fertilizer industry. So if you're starting something in fertilizer industry or agri industry, even without any tax, you can get the loan from the bank. Even up to a certain amount is also exempted for the repayment of amount. So these all are the challenges and the trends we face in the Indian startup. So, ma'am, any questions?
Thank you so much.
Ma'am, it's not audible. Am I audible to all of you?
Uh,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
So, any questions from your side?
Informative innovative and knowledge. Actually, we are.
Mukta ma'am, actually your voice is breaking.
But actually,
Mukta ma'am, your voice is breaking.
Yes, ma'am. Any questions?
Hello, Mukta ma'am, are you there? Okay, sir, I think there is some connection, internet
Yes, ma'am.
connectivity
Some
issue
network issue.
from your side, so that's why. First of all, sir, I would like to thank you for your time and effort and for sharing your valuable insight on today's topic. Thank you so much, sir, for joining with us in today's session. Sir has discussed various aspects of a startup, such as the necessity of a purpose and a vision for the startup, the importance of a plan and the marketing strategy which is required for for a startup.
Yes, ma'am.
What are the legal and ethical issues which are involving in a startup, and lastly, what are the various government initiatives which are helpful for the individual who are interested in the startup. So
Yes,
I
ma'am.
hope your lecture is very beneficial for all those individuals, whether they are faculty members or students who are interested in having their own startup.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
I hope all of them have gained much knowledge from today's session. So thank you so much, sir, once again for such an elaborative session. I would also like to thank our respected Director Ma'am, Dr. Poonam Pandey Ma'am, and Dean, Dr. C.S. Yadav Sir, for giving us this opportunity to organize today's session. I am also thankful to our coordinators, Ms. Indujan Ma'am and Ms. Mukta Tiwari Ma'am, for successfully coordinating today's event. And thank you so much, all the attendees, for joining with us in today's session. And sir, once again, thank you so much for such an elaborative talk. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
So, thank you, ma'am, from my side. And in fact, I have just joined this college. It's almost like 1 month right now. So this is my first opportunity I'm getting. So thank you so much. And we will, of course, like get in touch with more like collaborative effort.
Yeah, sure, sir. We will also like to get in touch with then like this time we have conducted in online. Maybe in future we can invite
Yes,
you in our
in
college
fact,
for
I
a
was
one-to-one
saying,
interaction with the
Mega Mom also I was saying
students.
like if possible. So Mama was saying because some like examinations are going on, so students may not be there in the
Yes,
class. So next time we'll try to make it offline.
right, sir. Thank you so
Okay,
much, sir.
thank you.
Thank you once
Thank
again.
you. Welcome.